welcome back to Sports on Tap. This is Ed Dick alongside Sean Duffy, Josh Jeffy. Rob Traubman is out on assignment. We are live at Studio J here in beautiful Brunswick, Ohio, going over the division, going over the prospective state high school football Final Fours. Our last segment, we discussed Division I and Division II. So before we get into Division III, make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're also on. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, and this show, of course, is on Mixler.com.
Also YouTube.
And our website, www.sportsontappodcast.com. That's where you can see Sean Duffy's 3 keys to the game, occasionally my 3 questions of the game, our scores, and our write-ups after each of our games of the week. So Sean had a really good article about the Avon and Olmsted Falls Division II Region 6 final.
Thanks,
and,
man.
That might be the last one of the year. We're not really sure yet.
Yeah.
We're working on.
We'll see. I mean, we'll cover football as long as our teams that we do cover are in it. Just kind of fast forward into the future coming up later on here next month and into winter. Get ready, high school hockey, because we're going to be covering the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League. We're going to get into those. We're going to go out to some games. So kind of the same thing that we did for football, we're going to be doing for high school hockey. We're very much looking forward to that.
So get ready, hockey fans. We're going to mess this thing up.
All right, before we get to that, let's get back into the high school football playoffs. Division III. In Division III, Region 9, the number 1 seed Canfield Cardinals came into their regional final, 12-0 overall, taking on the number 6 seed. And they are number 6 seed in number only.
Yeah.
If you had to rank these teams, I would say St. Vincent and Barry is most certainly not a number 6 seed. They came into this game 9-3. The game was played at Salem High School. The Fighting Irish, a very, very tough 13-10 victory over the Canfield Cardinals. That was a number 6 defeating a number 1 seed. Akron St. Vincent St. Mary advances on to the Division III state semifinals. They will take on the Division III Region 11 champion Dresden Tri-Valley, 12-1 overall. They were a 13-9 winner over Bishop Hartley. Both teams were 11-1 in that contest. Tri-Valley is a number 5 seed. So you got a number 6 seed playing a number 5 seed. Clearly, these are very, very good schools, and it's just happened to be how the computer points shook out in their respective regions. But I think we can all agree that they are not number 6 and number 5 seeds just based on paper.
Mm-hmm.
In Division III, Region 10, we had the Bay Rockets, the number 2 seed, 12-0 overall. Traveled up to Cedar Point Stadium at Strobel Field in Sandusky, Ohio. They played the number 1 seed, 10-2, the Toledo Central Catholic Fighting Irish, and they were all over the Bay Rockets. 35-0 victory for the Fighting Irish. Toledo Central Catholic is ranked number 8 in Division III overall, and we'll swing it over to Sean for Division III Region 12. That's where he's got the more expertise.
That's
that being down where he grew up.
That's where I did most of my damage in high school. Not Division III, we were Division II, but a lot of these teams were in Division II. The regional finals matchup was against Dayton Chaminade Julienne versus Trotwood Madison, and Trotwood Madison has been a steamroller in this playoff, and they continue that with a 44-14 victory to move on to the state semifinals, where they will take on Toledo Central Catholic. Trotwood Madison is ranked number 1 in Division III. They are going to take on the number 8 ranked Toledo Central Catholic in a state semifinal matchup. Obviously, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, Dresden Tri-Valley, that's a good matchup. But when you're talking about 2 powerhouse teams that are in the playoffs year after year over the last 10 years, Trotwood Madison 13-0 versus Toledo Central Catholic 11-2. I think the winner of that has an inside track to the Division III state championship, barring an Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, a team like that, or Dresden Tri-Valley. Again, these teams are all good, but Trotwood Madison, I mean, they have been just hammering teams. Every team they played, they've beaten them by at least 20 points, sometimes 40.
Yeah, they're taking no prisoners in the playoffs here.
It's not pretty if you're playing Trotwood Madison. And the challenge for Toledo Central Catholic is, can you slow them down? Trotwood has speed. Trotwood has, and they have a good defense. So very interesting to see how Trotwood and Toledo Central Catholic plays out. Definitely going to be a good game. But again, congratulations to the Fighting Irish of Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary, and Dresden Tri-Valley, as well as Toledo Central Catholic and Trotwood Madison, the Fighting Rams.
These games will be played Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary will play Dresden Tri-Valley at Massillon Perry High School. Toledo Central Catholic takes on Trotwood Madison at Piqua High School. So that wraps it up for Division III. We'll move quickly on to Division 4. In Region 15, New Concord John Glenn High School gets a 38-7 victory over Philo High School. John Glenn's a number 5 seed. And they will take on Clarksville Clinton Massey, the number 7th ranked team in Division 4. They were a 28-7 winner over previously undefeated Wyoming. This game will be played at Hilliard Darby High School near the Columbus area. Once again, it's New Concord John Glenn, 11-2 overall, taking on Clarksville Clinton Massey, the number 4 seed in Division 4, Region 16. Hilliard Darby High School, 7:30 p.m. Shoot it over to Division 4, Region 13, and Division 4, Region 14.
Yeah, Region 13 featured a regional final matchup between Steubenville at 12-0 versus Perry at 12-0. Something had to give, but unfortunately Perry was not able to come away with the victory as they lost 33-21. So Steubenville will go on. They are ranked number 1 in Division 4, and they will take on the winner of the Bellevue-Shelby matchup, which Shelby was able to come through with a 41-21 victory. They remain undefeated as they head into their same semifinal matchup at the University of Akron on Friday night against undefeated and number 1 ranked Steubenville. So that game will be at 7:30 at University of Akron. Shelby will take on Steubenville for the right to play in the Division 4 state championship.
Very well. All right, let's move on to Division 5. And we do have a little bit of local flavor here, so we'll start there. In Division 5, Region 17, the Sullivan Black River Pirates. They were the runners-up of the Patriot Athletic Conference Stars Division to the Medina Buckeye Bucks. Black River came into this game as the number 3 seed, 11-1 overall against Canfield South Range, and this game got away from Black River in the second half. Same thing that we talked about with Olmsted Falls. Black River does run a triple option, wing T, pistol type of offense, and unfortunately they couldn't get out of their own way. They had very, very costly turnovers that South Range was able to take advantage of, and South Range was also able to sustain some drives. On one drive, they picked up 3 third downs and 2 fourth downs, and just in the second half just wore Black River down. South Range remains undefeated. They are the number 2 ranked team in Division 5. They are 13-0. They defeat Sullivan Black River by a score of 40-16. That game was played at Canal Fulton Northwest High School. Tremendous season. They were the last team standing in Medina County. A very, very good showing for Medina County this year with Black River, Medina Highland, Wadsworth, and Medina Buckeye all making the playoffs. So a very, very good showing for Medina County football. But, however, it's Canfield South Range, 13-0 overall. They will take on the winner of Division 5, Region 18, between Pemberville Eastwood and Pleasant High School. Pleasant came into the game as the number 2 seed, 10-1 overall. Eastwood was 12-0 overall. They are the number 1 ranked team in Division 5. They come away with a 35-0 victory over Pleasant. That game was played at Lima Senior High School. As a result, we will have the number 1 team and the number 2 team ranked in Division 5, both number 1 seeds, both undefeated. Canfield South Range taking on Pemberville Eastwood at Strunsville Packatan Stadium Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Very, very looking forward to seeing who's gonna win that matchup. That's gonna be a very, very highly contested matchup for the Region 5 in the Region 5 semifinals.
Yeah, and moving on to Region 19 and Region 20. Region 19 featured a matchup between Wheelersburg at 12-0 versus Johnstown Monroe at 10-2. Wheelersburg was able to get the 34-7 victory to move on to take the Region 19 crown. And in Region 20, we had the West Jefferson and Madison Senior matchup. That Madison Senior with Middletown Madison Senior was able to take that one 42-7. So it will be Wheelersburg at 13-0. Ranked third in Division 5 versus the Middletown Madison at 11-2. That will be played Friday night at 7:30 at Chillicothe Hernstein Field. And again 7:30 on Friday for the chance to play in the state finals.
There's a lot of blowouts in that regional finals round, which I think sometimes you get that in these lower divisions in these lower division contests. You have a lot of guys going both ways,
right?
And some schools may have more participation than others. So I think you can kind of see how this shakes out, especially for some of the traditional powers. So albeit we had all blowouts for the most part in the regional finals, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the case. You have the top 3 ranked schools in Division 5 all still in the playoffs. You have all number 1 seeds with the exception of Middletown Madison. So I'm looking forward to a very competitive Division 5 semifinals. Moving on to Division 6. A little more, we do have a little bit of local flavor here too, as the Kirtland Hornets came into they were the number 3 seed in Division 6 Region 21, taking on the number 1 seed Rootstown, also 12-0. That game was played at Stewart Field at Solon High School. Kirtland with a very, very hard-fought 17-7 victory over Rootstown. Kirtland is ranked number 2 in Division 6. Tiger Laverty's team will take on Nelsonville York. They are the number 3 ranked team in Division 6. Also the number 1 ranked team, the number 1 team in Region 23. They came away with a 28-7 victory over Dawson Bryant High School. That game was played at Jackson High School in Massillon. Very, very very good contest we have coming up here between Kirtland and Nelsonville York. That game will be played at New Philadelphia High School this Friday night at 7:30.
And in Region 24 was a matchup of perennial playoff powerhouses Coldwater at 9-3 versus Maria Stein Marion Local. Both these teams easily could be in the top 4 every single year, and they usually are in this division. But it was Marion Local that was able to pull off a 33-0 win to get to the state Final Four, and they will take on the winner of the Findlay Liberty Benton and Hillsdale matchup, in which Findlay Liberty Benton was able to pull off a 37-17 victory. They will face Marion Local at Wapakoneta High School on Friday at 7:30 p.m. This will be the number 1 ranked team in Division 6 versus the number 5 team number 5 ranked team in Division 6. And what you have to notice about this one, Ed, is you have the 1, 2, 3, and 5 ranked teams all competing for we almost had a chalk division here. And again, I gotta believe that Coldwater was probably the number 4 ranked team in that division. But one of the things that you look at, this is pretty much same as, with the exception of Kirtland and Nelsonville York, but Findlay Liberty Benton and Marion Local, these 2 teams are in it every single year. You can book them. And same thing with Coldwater. These teams are consistently in there with a great program they have in there in Division 6. They are clearly a powerhouse in that division.
Yeah, so we have a lot of good games coming up there. Once again, to recap, Kirtland 13-0 overall will take on Nelsonville York, also 13-0 overall. It's a 2-3 matchup. That game will be played at New Philadelphia High School. And the number one ranked team, Maria Stein Marion Local, 13-0, will take on the number 5 ranked Findlay Liberty Benton High School, 12-1 overall, at Wapakoneta Middle School. Last and certainly not least, Division 7. We have a couple of we once again have a little bit of local flavor here. We'll start in Division 7, Region 25. Where we had probably one of the best games you'll see in the in this division probably only rivaled by what happened in Region 27. The number 2 seed, Cuyahoga Heights, the Redskins, came into this game 10-1 overall, ranked number 5 in Division 7, against the number 1 seed, Dalton, 12-0 overall. That game was played at North Canton Hoover High School, and Cuyahoga Heights was down early, and they had a frantic comeback, and they were able to overtake Dalton and get a 42-41 victory to move on to the state semifinals. Heck of a game by the Redskins there, and they moved it down from Division 6 as part of competitive balance. So they were able to avoid, and I can say the same thing for Kirkland. They were able to avoid each other in the playoffs, which they haven't been able to do the last couple of years. They play each other for the CVC championship, and then they also usually play for a regional championship. But now we have an opportunity for both those teams to continue on in the playoffs. They will take on the winner of Division 7, Region 27, Danville, the number 1 seed, defeating River, the number 6 seed, 29-28. This game was played at Maysville High School. Danville is the number 3 team in Division 7. They improved to 12-1 overall. River drops to 8-4, a great season. Number 6 seed, once again, probably only in name, just as far as computer points are concerned. You have a 3-5 matchup. This game will be played at the home of Smuckers.
Oh, yeah.
Good old Orville, Ohio. Orville Red Rider Stadium in Orville, Ohio. This game will be played Friday night at 7:30 p.m.
That should be a tasty game.
Yes.
See what I did there?
Yes, I see what you did there.
Comedy, baby. Comedy. Anyway, moving on. Region 26 in Division 7 featured St. Paul, Norwalk St. Paul versus Pandora Gilboa, and I'm probably butchering that name.
Sounds fine.
It sounded good to me.
Sounds pretty phonetic to me.
Yeah, and you know what? This game, as close as the other 2 games that Ed just went through, were these 2 games, not so much. Norwalk St. Paul dominated Pandora Gilboa 49-7. They will face Minster out of the Region 28, who blanked St. John's 20-0. So it'll be a matchup of Norwalk St. Paul 13-0, number 1 ranked in Division 7, versus Minster 9-4 at Lima Senior High School at 7:30 on Friday. Again, that game Friday 7:30, Lima Senior High School, Norwalk St. Paul versus Minster.
And Norwalk St. Paul is one of those is a perennial contender in Division 7 or Division 6 if we go back a couple of years. So I'm looking forward to seeing if we can get a Norwalk St. Paul versus Cuyahoga Heights final here in Division 7. As you can see, we do have some local teams still left.
Yep.
It's outside of the teams that we cover. With Cuyahoga Heights and Kirtland still playing. Perry unfortunately fell, and Black River was not able to move on in Division 5. And Bay lost in Division 3 to Toledo Central Catholic. But we do have some teams up here still. We of course, just to recap, Mentor is still alive in Division 1. They will take on Powell, Olentangy Liberty. Avon was still alive. They will take on Akron Archbishop Hoban. That game will be at Brunswick Automart Stadium. We also have Cuyahoga Heights, Division 7, will take on Danville. That game will be played at Orville High School in Division 7. And then once again in Division 6, we have Kirtland, the Division 6 Region 21 champions, taking on Nelsonville York. And also in Division 2, the Massillon Washington Tigers, looking for their first state championship ever in the playoff era. They have a ton of mythical championships from the from the Paul Brown days and even up through the 70s, but they have yet to claim a title in the playoff format. They will take on Cincinnati Winton Woods in the Division 2 semifinals. So, guys, a lot to look forward to next week, and we'll see how everything shakes out. But this has been, I have to say, this has been a very, very good season. Mm-hmm. When the teams that you cover, when they're moving on, and we're lucky enough to have 2 schools that are still playing that we talk about. So definitely best of luck to Coach Elder and the Avon Eagles, and then Coach Trevisano and the Mentor Cardinals. I do say that, having previously said I very strongly dislike Mentor, but
at this point you're cheering for the region now.
I would rather see a team that completely utterly destroyed us, but also took no mercy on the private schools. I do want to see Mentor advance on and give it their best shot in the state championship, and I obviously want to see what Avon can do against Akron Archbishop Hoban. Before we sign off, any last thoughts about the season or what's coming up for us next week?
Well, I mean, I'm excited. Like I said, we got some really good matchups here. We got some perennial teams that are there. We got some newcomers in the state Final Four, so that's always fun to follow. Again, to all the local teams still in it, good luck. We wish you nothing but the best. To all those teams that didn't make it, and even the private schools, we're not hating on the private schools. You had great seasons all around, and I like to thank my part-time help, Josh and Rob, and Ed there. I throwing that out there as your full-timer.
Guys, if just in the area, we do have 2 great games. So, I mean, if you guys are looking for something to do Friday night, definitely come to Brunswick Automart Stadium to see Avon take on Akron Archbishop Hoban. You have 2 powerhouse schools there. That game, that will not be a disappointment one bit. If you want to go up a little bit north and see some small school football, the Division 5 state semifinals will be played in Strawnsville. Canfield South Range against Pemberville Eastwood. That's a 1-2 matchup as far as Division 5 is concerned. So you have 2 really, really good options for football this Friday night if you're a high school football fan. And let's face it, watching high school football is a lot better than watching what we watch on Sundays.
Absolutely.
Which we, thankfully, due to high school football, we've been able to avoid that topic for the last 3 months.
We're running out of distractions, Ed.
Yes, we are.
And real quick before we go.
We're going to do the Buckeye wrap-up.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But Buckeye is a part of it. I just want to give a shout-out on behalf of the whole crew at Sports on Tap. Thanks for everyone for checking in at any part of the football season today, following us on Twitter, replying to us on Twitter, liking anything that we put on Twitter, listening to us everywhere that we're available. We appreciate all the support. And if you see us out at any local games, please feel free to say hello.
Throw mittens at Rob. He loves that.
Among others. But well, good luck to the teams that are still in it, and that's all the teams throughout the state of Ohio. It's been a long journey since the start of August, so good for them. And for the teams that are not in it, congratulations on a great season, as it already is.
All right, for Josh Jeffy and Sean Duffy and Rob Troutman,
who's not here,
who's on assignment.
On assignment.
We thank you very much for listening to our podcast. Once again, catch us on Twitter, Facebook, Mixler, our website, www.sportsontappodcast.com. My name is Ed Dick, and we will see you on the other side.
Hockey fans, we're coming for you.
Can't wait. We'll see you guys later on. We'll see you next week. Sports on Tap, signing out.